Ladies and gentlemen, adjust your headphones.
Come on in and shut the front door. You're welcome to the You Should Know podcast, the news from the antagonist's shoes. We're going to look at some of the weird and wonderful stories in the news that you may not have seen. We're looking at some of the more current and mainstream stories, but with a twist. We're going to look at it from the point of view of some of the most unsavory characters in the stories. I am your host, Sarah Everard, and I introduce you to my co-host,
Michael Akadiri. What's going on, people?
Lovely. I'm sure they can hear you. I'm going to jump in to the first segment. Yeah, this is the Undercover Gems. We're going to look at some of the weird and wonderful stories that you may have missed in the news. So, Mike, I'm going to give you a bit of the title for this story.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, all right, cool. 150 G's of church funds spent.
150 bags, yeah?
150 bags, yeah.
What, pound sterling or naira? Let's get this right.
No, this is USD.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. In God we trust money, okay? The church spent it.
Well, the funds were spent. They weren't spent on what the church wanted to spend them on.
Well, the church should be spending it on bringing people to the faith, you know? I think they should be spending, if you're serious, like you got Jehovah's Witnesses who recruit for free. You need to give these people money and support their recruitment drive. If you want more, you've got to invest in your recruitment to see a better return. So they should spend that money on Jehovah's Witnesses, giving them cars to drive, giving them pamphlets, giving them videos to watch. Nowadays, we're such a sort of digital people. Go to knock on someone's door and play them a video that they engage with. Let's get more people into the church. And I think Jehovah's Witnesses, they're still in the 80s, fam. They're still doing the knock on the door, talking to you. No, we've evolved. We've evolved. Yeah. If you want to bring people into the church, evolve with the time. It's 2021. Don't come and talk to me. Show me something.
A video on the iPad?
Show me a video on the iPad. Show me something interactive. Show me a video from Passion of Christ where Christ resurrects, fam. Impress me. Impress me. Because sometimes, obviously, if you don't give a damn about the church...
But why are you focusing on Jehovah's Witnesses?
No, but I'm just saying that they're part of their recruitment, isn't it? They do a lot of recruitment for the church.
Not for every church.
Not for every church, but, you know, like, if you want to bring people into the church, you need to recruit more, right?
Right.
Either you can get the people in the church to donate more money, or you can recruit more. And the only people I see that do any recruitment is Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't see many other people, unless you get the auntie on WhatsApp. But that's just some lazy broadcast. I'm talking about real doorstepping, but doorstepping's old school. So I think they need to invest in their recruitment with the Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what I would do. If I'm spending 150 G's, and I'm the church, and I want to grow what I've got, I'm supporting Jehovah's Witnesses. They've been working tirelessly for years, cuz.
Right. So, well, I like your take. But you couldn't be further away.
So they left the Jehovah's Witnesses with no peas.
You couldn't be. No, it's got. Although my story last week did focus around churches, and well, not money being spent, but subscriptions being spent on that woman who was running her OnlyFans account. Yeah. This takes a kind of similar take. But it's not the 150 G's being spent on anything that the church should actually be spending on. Okay. It's actually 150 G's of church funds being spent on porn. Okay?
Oh my goodness.
Listen, I don't know who's got time to spend 150. Yeah.
I thought this stuff is free. Like, what are you spending money? I thought it was free.
That's what I thought. Listen, there's this guy. Mr. Glenn Yovers, 65. Where's he from? I think he's from California. He's from Pennsylvania. He's from Pennsylvania. Yeah, he's the church treasurer. And apparently he was worshipping from the wrong altar because this guy was spending 150K, over a 10-year period.
10 years?
Over 10 years on his porn addiction, I'm like, I can't believe he spent all that money on, like you said, porn you can quite easily get some free content. Like, go on Pornhub, my guy. I'm pretty sure he rolled up to church in an 18-plate Tesla. And they were like, it's 2016. How did he
He was in the future. He was in the future.
How did he get that? I'm pretty sure he spent more of it than just on porn. But allegedly,
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah. The church had to shut down because they couldn't pay their bills.
Wow.
Yeah. They couldn't keep the lights on and stuff. And they were like, "Where's all the money going?" And he was like, "Oh, it's going to charity." So he's going to charity. I think that's the name of his favorite porn star, because I don't know where the money was really going. But yeah, they found out. And I don't know if he's facing any
no, kick him out. Get him out of here.
Well, I mean, the money. I mean, I don't know. You don't really get the money back. The money's gone, right? But
150k. Like, I was thinking, how much is broadband? But he must have wanted to see these women in 4K. He must have got an ultra crisp laptop.
How much is how much is a
this is some virtual reality porn, fam. He wanted to be there, fam.
Unless he was getting it live and direct from the dam or something like that. You was seeing that red light. Because I don't know how you spend that much, even over 10 years. I don't know. I know it's an addiction, but I don't know how you spend that much money.
He was Mr. Addiction. He was addicted. But
I mean, 10 years, I've got a feeling some of the other priests must have known. And they're like, listen, you give me the username, the password.
She had a password like it's Netflix.
I won't say nothing. Is he gonna say for me, brother?
he's finished. This guy, I know he's banished. I know they've banished him.
A class hell.
Yeah, he did direct. Don't pass, go straight to hell.
Yeah. Trust me, church shut down and everything. Crazy.
2 weeks in a row with the church team. They're gonna think you're against Christ, Junior.
What? Look, I don't know. It's not me. I don't create the news. The news creates itself. Okay. That's 2 cases of sexual misconduct being done in churches. It's not good. Yeah.
No, you have to highlight
sort it out.
You have to highlight it. No, you're right.
This is a message directly to the church community, the Catholic and Protestant evangelists, Jehovah's Witnesses, Michael's mates. This is a plea to you lot. Stop this nonsense.
No, we need to clean house. That's for sure.
Yeah.
My one is fortunately nowhere near the church, so the church can take a breather. Essentially, the headline is half-eaten ex solves 9-year-old German burglary. So what I want you to do, half-eaten ex, so X
as in
something.
X is in blank. Okay.
Yeah, blank. Half-eaten blank solves 9-year-old German burglary. So I just wanted to put you in the shoes of you're a burglar. You go run up someone's house to steal their jewelry, but you walk past the kitchen and there's a meal there. What meal would have to be on the table for you to take a bite out of it? So that's what I want you to say. What food could you not walk past that you're like, you know what? I need to sample this. I need to eat some of this. What food would that be for you?
Well, I'm in Germany.
You're in, no, in fact,
it's got to be like schnitzel. What's that stuff? Must be
schnitzel.
I said I'm in Germany.
Yeah.
It's like a pork base. I think it's pork base. It's like a pork based meat, something like that. I don't think they all have to be pork, but I had it when I was in Austria anyway. It's got to be like schnitzel.
That you're like, I have to eat this.
Or, well, I'm a German, so I'm putting myself in. It must be one of them larger sausages that they love. It's just and pretzel and beer.
So this guy, you got the whole meal there. What kind of person are you robbing that you want the whole meal? You say
it's
pretzel and beer.
Get me another one. Give me another one. That thing was delicious.
You're not far off because there's this guy who was robbing a house. He must have done it like 2012. And he must have seen a sausage. So like you, he likes his meat.
I told you, yeah.
Likes his meat.
I know these Germans, man.
He must have seen, they call it a Wurst in German, apparently.
Yeah, Wurst, yeah.
A Wurst, see? I don't Thomas Witzel.
Then once you can't eat one, they're like, bring another, bring the second.
So there was a sausage there, or a Wurst there, and then my man, he said, I have to eat it. You have to eat it. They took a bite out of the sausage, left his DNA all over the place, and then he must have moved town. I think he's living in France now, and then he got caught for a crime in France. So obviously they put these details into the Europol, and then there we go. In it, obviously
they snagged him for the burger as well.
Yeah, come on, man. This guy, I don't know what sausage you see, what meat you're seeing that you have to put your mouth on the meat.
And that's very. At least finish it. Like at least finish the whole damn thing, because I saw something that's quite similar on Crime Watch. They were chasing some guy.
Yeah.
In a car, like a high speed chase, and then the guy jumped out the car, left in it. I think he stole the car.
Yeah.
But he left his half-eaten kebab in the whip. So they were like, cool. They just took the DNA sample. They didn't even change it. They said, continue running. Continue running. Don't worry. We'll get you later.
Don't worry. Yeah, that's it.
Keep running. Yeah, go on.
You can't leave your DNA. I've been watching a lot of true crime.
That's so silly.
You leave with your DNA.
Why would you eat the thing? Why would you eat the thing? The
amateur criminals. That's why I don't respect amateur criminals. If you're going to be a criminal, do it well, fam. No trace, no face, no case.
Yeah.
Like your name is J2 Trappy or whatever it is.
If you're a dodo bird.
But talking about crime, interesting. What a segue. Talking about crime, we're talking about finding crime. Obviously, we're going to move on to the main segment of the pod. This is the You Should Know Better segment. This is where, in turn, one of us will summarize a news story from the past week, and the other has to consider such a news story from the antagonist's shoes and ask themselves, should they have known better? So obviously, we cannot do this pod this week without discussing the Sarah Everard story. I'm sure all of you've heard it. It's a very sad story of a young woman who was living in Clapham, was on her way home from a friend's house, but she went missing, and the court case has not happened, so I'll use the term accused, but it's a police officer who has been charged with her kidnapping and murder. So in response to that, loads of young women primarily went to Clapham Common on Saturday to hold a vigil, not a protest apparently, but a vigil. And some of them were faced with some police brutality, for which the police have come under a lot of scrutiny. And Cressida Dick, the police commissioner, has had calls to leave her job. So Junior, what I've got for you now, is I want you to put yourselves in the shoes or the boots. I know them man wear them thick ass Clarks from these police officers with bare rubber. 100 laces.
To the crime scene if you're still doing your laces.
Bare rubber.
No wonder they take 8 minutes. Like spend 5 minutes doing those laces.
How are you gonna chase after a criminal with all that rubber on your shoe?
They need to introduce Velcro or something.
Trust me. So anyway, so imagine putting yourself in these boots as the police officers. If you're at the vigil, what goes through your mind? And you're a man too, obviously. What goes through your mind to tackle these women, put these women on the ground, handcuff them? Like, what goes through your mind as a police officer?
Well, I don't know. So, all right. So I'm there. I've got to deal with all these.
You're there. Obviously, you're seeing women with flowers because I saw they've got the plaques or the picards, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They've got flowers. They've got candles. So women. I don't know if they're doing kumbaya and stuff, but maybe they're praying, or I don't know whether they were taking the knee, they fist up. I didn't really watch the footage, but they're trying to pay their respects.
Yeah, of course.
That doesn't sound too aggressive. And it's primarily white women, so you wouldn't think that's an aggressive. Well, you wouldn't think anyway, not in the media's eyes anyway. So what do you see? You see primarily white women putting flowers on the ground. What makes you, as a police officer, go, you know what? I'm gonna take them out. I'm gonna rush them. I'm gonna arrest them. What makes you do that?
Well, do you know, if I'm gonna put myself in the Constable Bob's shoes, I saw a bit of the action, From around 2 p.m, 4 p.m, it was all right. They were doing, the vigil and just paying their respects. The sun started to go down. It was getting a bit rowdy. People were like giving speeches and that. I saw some of them anarchists giving speeches and stuff. So, and there was a couple of them signs. And if I'm a police officer, I was probably at the Black Lives Matter protest. So them signs, flashbacks.
Yeah.
I'm remembering all the carnage and chaos.
Well, the PTSD.
That PTSD kicked in. I need to get myself ready. You say girls, but we don't know. We don't know what's going on. So
some of them could be in MMA. You never know.
You don't know. That's what I'm saying. You can't listen. They might hit you with a 1-2. You got to be ready.
That's it.
I'm not really taking any risks. I'm bringing out that baton thing, the tasers in my hand. Like, especially that girl with the red hair. That reminds me of Fire. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing. She's got a Molotov cocktail in her hand. So you gotta be ready in it. Like you can't just let these people slide because there's a lot of them.
There was a lot of women.
A lot of girls can be they can be strong enough to grab you to the ground and then give you the 1-2 special. So
that's it.
You gotta be ready. And I think for me, being a police officer, there we got the message in it. So we got told, listen.
From top, from
Cressida Dick.
Cressida,
Listen, Cressida. She said, listen, these lot stop messing around. You got to give him you got to go show him who's boss.
Take him out.
That message obviously came through.
Yeah.
They were yabbing. So then we had to grab him and dash him out. It was look. Honestly, it's a pandemic as well. Like, look at the time.
Trust
Why
me.
are you lot still here?
It was late. It was late.
It's getting late.
It's late.
It's already not safe out, and you're here now. Come on, get back inside. Like,
get back inside.
Get back inside and be safe. What's going on? So they're lucky we didn't even like behave like our NYC officers. They might go pew freeze. They don't even wait. They don't even wait to give the instructions correctly. So they got off lightly. I'm telling you, if that was in NYC.
No, true. No, it could have been a lot worse. It's funny, like watching the outbreak, because obviously a lot of people are outraged. Police brutality is the problem, and obviously us being black, it's like it's always been a problem, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
It's always been a problem, and it's like some of them are like, wow, I can't believe it. They're treating us like niggas. And it's just, that's what some of them are acting like whoa, it's a problem. Like, I thought there was levels, and it reminds me of this video I saw. It's unrelated video, but in America, there was this woman, I think she was in a bank, she was causing a ruckus, so the police put her on the ground and were arresting her. And then she was like, she was trying to get sympathy from the other customers. She's like, hey, look, police brutality. And they're like, no, sorry, ma'am, no, it's not. No, it's not. You're on your own here. No, don't try and get solidarity. Just ain't it. Just ain't it.
Yeah,
so
no, I think there's two trains of thought for me. It's like we know this stuff happens, innit? We know that police can be heavy-handed, especially when it's protests, when people are trying to be vocal about the way things happen in society. What's worse is that it was one of their own, allegedly.
Yeah, of course.
Who conducted this who carried out this murder.
Yeah.
So you know they're gonna behave heavy-handedly. Yeah, that one is like an issue when they should be focusing on police training to sort out, number one, how to deal with these protests, like not to basically manhandle women when they're trying to voice their concerns about safety in London streets. But also the training for I'm not even going to blame police for that one officer, because I don't know his story in it.
Yeah. Clearly,
he could be a madman.
He's got sickness, isn't it?
You can't help madmen like that.
Not to alleviate it, but he's mad, isn't it? Like, he's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we'll find out in it. Yeah. They like to say, "Oh, he was one bad." We'll find out.
Yeah, one bad apple.
Or if that was or if that's their culture, we'll find out. But there should be better training for them to deal with these circumstances, because I'm glad now that, to be honest, I assume most people that went to those kind of protests, I don't know, but may have went to some of the Black Lives Matter protests. Yeah,
there's probably some crossover. Like,
being in Clapham and stuff, I assume there's some crossover.
Yeah, you're most likely to be liberal and stuff.
Yeah, the ones who didn't, like, you've seen in it, open your eyes, don't matter who you are, unless you're like a middle-aged white guy, maybe, but no matter who you are. They even dragged one of them. I saw he was doing like he was screaming and he was on the bandstand. He was saying X, Y, Z. They're like, "Come on, get off!"
They took it. They said time's up. Time's up.
They took him to the back where there's no cameras and gave him the 1-2 special.
Lefts and rights, you know.
Equal lefts, equal right.
Man said, "You centrist, left, right."
Equal. So yeah, there's a few of them that do get the 1-2, but overall, I think people have now opened their eyes more so to the fact that this heavy-handed approach is just uncalled for.
No, of course, not facts, and it's sad. It's sad that it needs to be a white person that needs to suffer for people to open their eyes to injustices. I think it just screams at the lack. I think empathy is a word that's thrown about, but I don't think people are that empathetic. I think they need to see themselves in that situation for them to be empathetic. I don't think they can see someone that doesn't look like them suffer something and be like, rah. A few people can, but I think a lot more people need to be able to say, that person looks like me. They've gone through this. I understand the problem, which clearly happened.
Yeah, which is a problem. For me, off the rap, when I heard this story, I was like, that's outrageous. How can this happen? And there needs to be greater protection for women. I don't even look. I have straight empathy, because I can't even look at it and think, well, I'm not a girl. And
of course.
Times, a lot of girls who are friends, and they're like, I guarantee you've never even like bothered or been concerned when you're walking the street late at night. And I'm like, no, not really. To be honest, people are probably running from me because I'm like 6'3" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried, but they are. And that you're thinking just to walk the streets, like you're there's fear in your chest. Like, that's generally a problem. So
no, of course. And yeah, I'm glad there's been a discussion on the social medias about how we can, as men, make women feel safe, and long may that continue.
Yeah.
But what story have you got for us this week, or got for me to consider?
Well, I've got a story that kind of does include this discussion of, greater safety, not so much safety, but greater rights for people who are a minority, women, people of color. And we're looking at the Oscars. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Oscars, the Academy Awards, and they've had a change in the way that they view who gets nominated. So they've had an inclusion of more diverse nominees in the 2021 list than any other Oscar Academy Awards in the past, which is great. Which is great for diversity. It's great for
facts.
Great for people of color. Great to recognize people that have contributed so much to the industry but don't get the recognition. And so you're seeing, I think there's 9 actors of color who might earn the Academy Award nominations this week, which is great. I think that they've only previously had 5 women who've been nominated in certain categories, and this year they've got 2 in the same category. I think that's for directors, so that's great. They actually include a lot more diverse backgrounds, and I think for the rest of the world, we can look back and go, all right, we had an amazing 2020. Well, not amazing, but we've had an incredible, eye-opening 2020, where we've seen the protests, we've seen what Corona's done, we see how it's brought people together because we're in our homes, and now we're seeing people watch more films that are probably from, some people watching Korean films and that, because you've done watched everything on Netflix.
That's facts. That's facts. So you branch out.
Yeah, you're seeing this more diverse set of films, and so for you, Mike, if you're sitting there, you're a director, I don't know, Kevin Nolan or something like that. And you're sitting there, you're old-time white rich director. Yeah.
That's it. Been eating all this good.
Seeing all these people getting it. I mean, how are you feeling? Like, come on, they're stepping in your block. What's going on?
They need to, like The Rock used to say, they need to know their role. That's what. If I'm this white director, they need to know their role. They're stepping. This is the problem with diversity, as from an old white guy perspective, because everyone's coming to eat my lunch. And the problem is that they've not put in the years of hard work that I have put in, This is my industry, and they're trying to come into it. And who really, deep down, if there wasn't a pandemic, who's really watching all these films with subtitles? Who's watching these films?
Yeah.
Who's got time? I know the average person that doesn't have the IQ to read and listen. They don't have the IQ to read and listen. They want the thing in plain English. IQ. All these low IQ individuals worldwide. They just want to see the film and see action. All this diversity, and obviously I see these now. There's more women. I think there's a couple of women going for the director role. And if I'm an old white director, it's like, bro, when did women want to be behind the camera? That's what I want to know. When did they women? If I'm an old white guy director, it would be a case where women should ideally want to be seen and appreciated. You don't need to be behind the camera, because that's where I am. Let me direct. Yeah, let me direct. Let me talk. Let me be the one in control. Because I think, especially when you got a director on set, they're the ones that are do it this way, do it that way. They've got the vision. And obviously, maybe some directors don't like the fact that if they're sexist, if they're misogynistic, they don't like the fact that a woman's now in charge. A woman's directing the show. The woman's in control, And I think it's good to see. On a roll, it's good to see. It's good to see people's ideas, people's visions. And it should be more reflective of how society is. And I think that's what our film slate should be. It shouldn't just be the same old cats with all the power. Because we know what power in a certain individual's hands can do, a la Harvey Weinstein. So if you
Kevin
Spacey as well, then a complete madness for years, cuz. So it shows what it can do. So if you're in a situation where that's democratized and you're spreading out the power, spreading out the love, and you're giving people opportunities that they weren't getting before, then hopefully it should be a better film slate for all us viewers, because that's what we want to see in it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And I think open it up to like even more of these foreign films. I watched it. There's one called Parasite, it's a South Korean.
Yeah. They won big last year. I didn't see it, but they won big last year.
Yeah, it's actually a decent film. I slept through it. Oh, God, listen.
You're terrible. How can you say it's a good film, but you slept through it?
The subtitles killing me, fam.
Are you a low IQ individual?
I was when I was watching that film. I do put on subtitles when I watch films, yeah. But they're in English, so I'm listening to it. It's just, sometimes they talk a bit low and you miss a few words.
Yeah.
Caught it. But when the whole thing was a Korean, I was like, oh my God. I think I had a heavy meal as well. I said, let me just rest.
What did you have? Kenke and Banku together, fam? What did you have? Said he had a heavy meal.
I had a heavy meal. I said, listen, let me just rest my eyes. I just took a mental note of the time that I was going to sleep. And I watched it. I said I'll catch it later. I'll catch it later. But no, it is nice. And I think they're actually gonna. I think one of the nominees are Chadwick Boseman as well.
Yeah, it is for Mama Rainey, something like that. Yeah, it's a film about a woman who, I think she was a blues singer in the 1920s in Chicago, and she had a white agent. So it's looking at sort of race relations or entertainment relations, North and South. So it's on Netflix.
Right, I need to street, which is definitely right up his street, because he's all about empowerment, especially these films that
of course.
Kalula's doing one.
Judas and the Black Messiah, which I need to see, and then another excellent film. And this is the good thing about, as you say, it's about telling these stories. Because before, maybe these stories don't get told if you haven't got people of color in front of the screen, but crucially behind the screen, behind the camera. A
lot of these stories get hidden, and you're not expecting an old white person to come and bring this story to light. That's just probably not their space. That's fair enough. So you need more diverse films, and I'm glad to see more female directors were in there as well.
No, of course, they see things differently to the men.
Some of them that should be household names, because I can't name that many, so that's not good.
That's true. When you think film director, you think of rich old school white men, i.e. Spielbergs and that. So let's switch that up.
He's still knocking around, right?
Where that money when your money long, fam. Yeah, when your money is long, you'll be eating that In-N-Out burger till you die. Fam.
It's true. He's got money from the 80s.
He's got money from the 80s, fam. He's got money from E.T. in them times, fam. The royalties are still strong. Talking about 80s, talking about throwbacks, we're going to move on to the last segment of the pod. This is what we call our throwback segment, where we look at something poignant from yesteryear, and we just like to just reminisce, man. Nostalgia is a big thing that we do at You Should Know Better. So I'm going to go first. The thing I've got is 19th of March 2003. We must have been end of primary school these times. And it's the first Prime Minister I remember is Tony Blair. And in 2003, him and his American counterpart, what's his name? George W. Bush. They dropped some bombs on Iraq, man. They started the invasion of Iraq, which now, obviously, I'm not saying obviously, I don't remember what the mood was back then, but definitely now the mood was that was a bad idea. So what do you recollect? Obviously you're our political correspondent on this pod. What do you remember about the invasion of Iraq?
I remember it was swift. I remember they went in, I think they took like a few weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. They went in and cleaned up. And then Bush went and stood on an aircraft carrier. So mission accomplished. These
men are evil,
Mission accomplished. People still die today, so mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. And it was all built on like false pretense. They said they had WMD. They got there, they didn't see anything. They just saw sweets inside the shop. That was what they saw.
That's why they wanted opium, like heroin and stuff like that. Is that true?
Well, I'm sure some people were dealing in that stuff, but they went in primarily to find nuclear weapons, basically. They were like, oh, they can launch a missile in 15 minutes here and stuff. They went in there and they cleaned out, but the problem is that most of the people that were fighting didn't actually fight, right? So he was like, mission accomplished, cool, but then they had the whole 10-year, 15-year insurgency where more soldiers were dying left, right, and center. So, like, look, if you spoke to any Iraqi today, they'd be like, listen, why did you guys do this?
It's a mess, isn't it? Yeah, it's a mess. That tarnished Tony Blair's legacy, because obviously he's one of the few Labour MPs of the last century, but that still haunts him.
He's still there. He's still there defending himself in inquiries. Like, I've never known a private... George Bush is on some Texas ranch, tipping...
Riding bears, fam.
sipping iced tea, and this guy's still trying to defend himself. Go and rest,
JR's
man.
barbecue sauce.
Tony, go and rest, man. Don't let this
Tony, go and rest.
bother you. Go and rest. Take your break, man.
Take your break. He's getting 100k a speech, fam. He's living good,
real,
fam. He's living good, fam.
That
you black guy, fam. Forget it, fam. They'll put you equalities minister at best, fam.
They have to come on. They have to give us a chance.
What have you got?
So my story kind of ties in with the news that we spoke about before, with the untimely death of, I forgot the girl's name now.
Sarah Everard?
Yeah, Sarah Everard, yeah. At the hands of that police officer, allegedly, I should describe allegedly.
It's accused, he's not guilty yet.
It's a story that happened around this time in 2002. It was the murder of Millie Dowler now. So a lot of people my age probably do not remember this story, but you may remember it being wrapped up with the whole Piers Morgan and phone hacking scandal, where they were basically listening to the voicemails to try and get some insight and then drop it into the News of the World newspaper stories. And there was a whole big scandal. Piers Morgan was involved in it. And it just kind of is interesting because it's a story now that we're looking at. And it's so fresh in our minds in terms of this issue around women being safe and, you know, more protection against men and violence on our streets. And a story that happened in 2002, it still resonates today in 2021. And I think that's a sobering thought.
Very poignant. Yeah, no, for sure. And we need to do better as a society, because clearly these things happen. History repeats itself, unfortunately, and we do need to do more to protect women, 100%. Because as you say, as we alluded to earlier, women don't feel safe walking on the street, and it's not something that we can really relate to. Maybe when we're a bit younger, you're going through an area you're not familiar with, you think, this area, this may be sticky, but it's definitely not to the same level that women face on a day-to-day basis, you know? So
yeah, definitely. And I think just kind of bring a lighter note to it, kind of linking this story back to one of, not the same experience, but I remember, like, around Greenwich, there used to be a lot of trouble, a lot of kids running around causing trouble.
Yeah, most definitely.
Where I grew up, a very humble estate, Cheriosha estate.
Humble?
Very humble estate. During fireworks night, these kids from Thamesmead, which is an area local in Greenwich, came down to my nice area.
Nice. Yeah.
Came down to my nice area, and we were playing in the playground. And I remember we saw like a couple kids, so we went over them. We thought they were our friends. Yeah. We were like, hey, what you lot saying, kind of thing. And they looked at us. There was like 20 of them, and they started chasing us. I've never run so fast in my life. Ran down there like Roadrunner. I think I got a speed ticket that day.
Well, the cameras were flashing you,
yeah. I was running for my life. And that's why I said, these streets are not safe.
These streets aren't safe. These streets aren't safe for women, for young men. Sadiq Khan, Cressida Dick, sort it out. You got to sort it out, innit? Sort it out. We don't feel safe.
So don't let that black conservative guy get it.
No, Sean Bailey, please. I have to throw his propaganda in the bin when it comes through my door.
No, Boris has tried it. They said, I tell you what, we'll use a black candidate because that way he'll win the vote.
This man does not relate.
We
see through it. Sean Bailey, nah. And he made, he's a mess. I don't want to talk about him. I'm closing this pod. I don't think that guy's a mess. We'll save it for another day. But that's been us. That's been another episode of You Should Know Better. Subscribe to the YouTube. Keep on listening. Keep on supporting. You guys take care, people. Peace.
Love and peace.